Alright, so I'm going to show how to replace the keyboard palm rest assembly on this HP Pavilion laptop model 15-CS3075CL. Right, so first thing we're going to do is remove these little rubber feet because they hide screws under here. Right, so I'm just going to use my fingernails. You can use whatever you want that you can use to get under here. So I'm just going to get under there and peel that up. Here you can see there's a screw hidden under there. Right, we're going to peel up this other one. Just like that. You can see there's actually two screws hidden under this one. Let's see if there's screws hidden under these. No screw under this one, but the adhesive is kind of separating from the rubber feet. Right, this one's kind of peeling away already, so that's kind of weird. So, okay, so it looks like there's no screws under here. I'm going to try and realign this adhesive strip here. The adhesive on this is kind of bad. It's all gunky, so looks like it's not going to stay. Anyways, we're going to use a PH1 or JAS1 screwdriver to remove the screws. Alright, you want to keep all the screws in order so that you can put them back the same way you got them. The way I do that is I put the flat side down like this on my desk in the pattern that I remove them. Alright, so you can see again there's the one screw on this side. That thing is sticking to my finger. Give me a second. Alright, so we'll remove that one screw, and then we'll remove the two over here. Alright, it's important to keep the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. If you mix them up, you can actually damage your computer. Alright, if this video helps you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others so that they can also learn how to upgrade and repair their devices. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel so that I can continue making these videos for a living. These are customer computer repairs, but as I continue to put out these types of videos, more and more people are able to repair the devices on their own, so I actually end up getting less work. Alright, so anyways, there we go. We got all the screws out. Now we have to figure out how to get this bottom cover off. This one is most likely going to be somewhat difficult to get out. Let's see if we can tell from the replacement cover how this thing is assembled. So let's see here. Alright, so we got a bunch of clips going on here. Okay, and then got a lot of clips all around the side, it looks like. The side clips maybe might not be as strong, but anyways, this is the replacement cover. I want to make sure everything looks good. Alright, so it looks like this is kind of weirdly uneven. There we go. I don't know. Alright, maybe once we get it all together it should be okay. Alright, so it was a little bit difficult to tell which way we can pop this open. So, I don't know. There's clips all over the place. Let's try with a suction cup real quick and see if we can get the bottom cover off. Alright, so let's go ahead and start from the side here. And nope, that doesn't seem like it's going to move anywhere. Let's try from the back here. Because there's two screws, maybe those screws make it a little bit easier to remove, but nope, it's still really stuck there as well. So these clips are super strong. Okay, we're getting somewhere with the left side here, though I'm not sure if that's something with this case being defective or something or what, but I don't know. The back just in the center there kind of popped up. So yeah, everywhere else it seems to be pretty stuck. So we were able to get a part of this up here. So here you can see it kind of separated. So let's go ahead and see if we can pop up the rest of the case from here. I'm going to try and pop the clips using my fingernails. You can use pry tools or whatever you want. But no, it's looking like that's going to be very difficult to separate here. So let's see if we can do this a different way. So I'm going to use the suction cup and I'm going to try and push the case inwards here a little bit. Okay, that's working. So as I lift, I'm pushing the case in. So basically, or essentially what I'm doing is I'm bowing the case up this way. So that way it pulls the cover in and releases those clips. All right. So we're going to kind of try and do this all the way around. All right. So this is going to be a bit tough, it looks like. All right. So it looks like that's working. Okay. Let's see if we can do this on the sides. So again, lift up and push the cover inwards. So essentially bowing the case in. All right, that sticker makes it not work. Wow, this case is really tough to remove. Okay. I mean, we got the middle back out here. So let's see if we can kind of use that to help flex it inwards more. That's really tough to remove. Okay. So, I don't know. This is being really tough. I don't think this is attached to this case here. Let's actually look at the other cover. Actually, okay, so it probably is attached to that case. Let's see. Man, why is this model so difficult? Some of these seem to be just super, super difficult to remove. So there's likely some clips in the center here. Those don't want to come out. So let's see if we can do it just by flexing this. So here we can see inside. Okay, so it looks like it worked when I pulled on this, and then what I did was I was pulling on this and pushing with my thumb, and it popped out the cover a little bit here. Let's see if I can do the same thing on this side. All right, there we go. All right, so that works. So starting from the back seems to be the best method. We're going to kind of pull it on it. So what we're doing is we're bowing it this way so that the center is going up and then the sides stay down, and that kind of squeezes it and makes the case shorter. So that way the clips can release here. All right. So we're going to continue doing that. There we go. Same thing. I'm kind of flexing it in the middle, if you can see, and then I'm pushing these in towards the center. And there you can see now the clips undo, and now it comes out pretty easily. So there we go. That's how you remove this cover. It looks like their battery here is actually going bad, so they might need to replace that soon. This model, they're having keyboard issues, so we're going to be actually taking everything completely out and then transferring it over to the new keyboard assembly. On this model, first thing we're going to do is remove the battery. The battery also acts as the BIOS or CMOS or real-time clock battery, RTC battery, whatever you want to call it. We're going to remove all those screws. You do want to keep all the screws in order. Again, they are different size, shape, and length, so if you mix them up, you can cause damage to the computer. All right, so this battery has 2 screws at the top, and then there's 2 screws at the bottom. All right, keep that in order. Sorry, I should probably zoom in a little bit to make this a little bit easier to see. But now that I have all these screws everywhere, it's going to be a little difficult to have room to move things around. Anyways, once you get those screws out, we're going to lift up from the battery from here. All right, and we can pull it out like this. So the battery model number, if you need it, is HT03XL. There's also an HP spare part number, if you can't find it with that, is L11119-855. All right, so we'll set the battery aside now. Okay, next thing, there is an SSD in here as well as a hard drive. So there's this 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. It looks like 2 screws holding it in place. Usually after removing the battery, one thing to do just to make it a little bit safer to work on, we're going to slowly, carefully open up the computer. All right, and then we're going to press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds, right? So I'm holding that down right now. We're going to do that for about 15 seconds. All right. This will drain the power from the capacitors and other components on the board, making it a bit safer to work on. Sometimes if you don't do this, you can actually cause some pretty bad damage to the motherboard or the screen. It's mostly important if you're going to mess around with the LCD LVDS connector, which on here is actually this cable right there. All right. So anyways, there's 2 slots for RAM here. I'm going to pop this open. Let's go over some of the basic stuff. So the RAM here is a 16 gig stick, PC4 2666V. All right, so if you wanted to replace your RAM, make sure you get a PC4 2666V. Matching stick would be best, so you could get another 16 gig stick and have 32 gigs of RAM. In this case, normally if you have 16 gigs RAM, I wouldn't recommend most people upgrade because 16 gigs is plenty. But in this case, because it's only using a single stick, it's best to have a second one to run the RAM in dual channel mode. Otherwise, it runs a bit slower just doing one stick. All right, CPU is soldered to the board. You got the fans here. We're going to pull everything out. I'm not going to pull everything off the motherboard because I don't need to, like the heatsink. Most likely I'm going to leave all of that attached. GPU die is under here. CPU is right there. All right. Okay, so since I held the power button, I can actually disconnect everything, but let's go ahead and do this first. So we got the SSD here. This is an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. So if you wanted to upgrade the SSD, that's what you'd want. All right. Again, we're going to remove all these screws and keep it all in order. It is a lot of screws. So to remove the SSD, once you take the screw out, you lift it up slightly like the RAM, and then you can just wiggle and pull it back. So yeah, M.2 PCIe NVMe. All right. It just looks like that. Usually NVMe's will have one notch, but that's not always the case. So don't just go by the notches. Yeah. Sometimes these will also support SATA, but NVMe SSDs are usually a lot faster, so go with an NVMe. All right, and then we got the 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. If you want, you can upgrade this to an SSD. Anyways, let's remove it. We're going to flip this latch up, and then we're going to pull this cable out, just like that. All right, and then we're going to remove the 2 screws here holding this metal bracket in place. This is most likely holding the hard drive in. So let's go ahead and remove those 2 screws. There are a lot of screws in here, so keep that in mind. It's a lot to keep track of. All right, so there we go. And again, you can upgrade this to an SSD as well. So if you want better, more reliable storage, more rugged storage for if you're like shaking this thing around. All right. This thing, you'd transfer over this bracket. So this bracket isn't held in with any screws. It's just these little rubber nibs. All right, but the metal bracket is held in with 2 screws there, so you'll have to transfer that over with the screws. And then this little connector here, I just get my fingernail in the little gap there, and then I kind of pry this up. All right, so just like that. Oh, this one's pretty tough to remove. Let's do it from this side, actually. So from this side, it's easier, like that, and like that. And then once you get this thing pried up, you can transfer this over to the new hard drive or SSD. All right, so we're going to put this back together. You want to be careful with this cable. You don't want to damage it by like bending it around too much or anything. But yep, we'll set that aside. Okay, let's go ahead and start removing other components. And then a lot of these we can actually start transferring them over right away. So let's go ahead and disconnect the keyboard cable and the trackpad cable. So trackpad cable's right here. Flip that latch. You can pull this out. There we go, keyboard cable, flip that, and then we'll get this cable out. This keyboard's actually broken, so it doesn't matter if you damage this, but I like to try and keep things intact. All right, so there we go. All right, connector looks okay. We got the keyboard backlight connector right here. Flip that latch, and then we'll pull that out as well. Again, the replacement keyboard has all of this stuff on it, so it's not too important to keep those intact, but we try to do it anyways. All right, now let's go ahead and remove this for the SD card slot. Flip that latch up, and then we can pull this cable out. We're going to leave this side of the cable in, and we're just going to undo the screw so that we can transfer this over. It's actually nice that these are all using PH1 or JAS1 screws. I haven't had to change the screwdriver yet, so hopefully that's the case with everything in here. All right, so we're going to take this. Oops, sorry. I'm going to grab the replacement keyboard, and we're going to just get this over there. All right, so line up the little plastic notches there. Am I putting that in the right spot? I hope. Okay, you have to tilt it up slightly at an angle to get it underneath this this area here, and then get that in there. All right, now let's go ahead and get this screw back in, just like that. All right, so normally I wouldn't do that in mid-air, but the rest of the computer's here in the way. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take these screws. Oops, you can't even see what I'm doing. All right, I'm getting too many screws in the way, so this hopefully isn't going to be too difficult to see. But we're going to take the 3 screws out from here that it's holding in this metal bracket for the trackpad. All right, get that out. Okay, and the third one here. All right, so we got those 3 screws out, and now we can lift this metal bracket up and out. Set that aside. Here we got the trackpad. Hopefully liquid didn't damage that. I don't see anything that looks weird there, so should hopefully be okay. All right, I'm gonna pull this keyboard cable out of the way, and then we're gonna undo the screws here. So these screws are covered by this plastic stuff, so you do have to hold that out of the way. And then we're gonna remove these. Oh no, we're gonna have to switch our screwdriver. All right, so these are the first screws. We're gonna have to switch our screwdriver. We're gonna switch over to a PH0 or JIS0 screwdriver. Okay, flip that up. Let's go ahead and take those screws out. So I got 1 screw there. Okay, looks like there's one in the middle here. All right, let's actually take this cable out because it's somewhat in the way. Flip that latch and then pull that cable out. All right, and there's an adhesive here holding this plastic stuff down, so we do have to peel this up, it seems. There we go, peel that up and out of the way. All right, and then let's go ahead and remove the other 2 screws. Hopefully once we're done with that, we can get the trackpad out. All right, so we got those 3 screws out. We might have to lift up this. All right, okay, so I'm pushing this through here, so I lifted the screen up a little, or the palm rest a little, and then we're gonna lift this up and pull this out. It feels like it's actually getting caught. Okay, I see. So we're gonna lift over from the left side here, okay, and this piece goes underneath this metal, so we have to slide it over to the left, I think. There we go, so we got that out. All right, and then again, we're gonna transfer this over to the new one. Let me actually set this aside so I have a little room to work on this and show you guys better. All right, so we got this here. We're gonna transfer this over. So I guess now's the time to clean out this thing. There's some junk in there. All right, let's go ahead and get this one back underneath. Get that into place here. All right, those screws are lined up. Make sure it's lined up properly, okay. All right, and then let's get these screws into place. Looks like it's going a little crooked, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna get these screws in. Alright, there's a lot of work to replace this piece, so hopefully the replacement keyboard will work okay, because it's gonna really suck if we have to take it all back apart. But anyways, let's go ahead and get these screws in. Alright, so we got those 3 screws in. If you want, you can flip it over to confirm it looks centered and looks good. Alright, so looks good. Flip it back over. Alright, let's take this metal plate and put that back on top. I've had complaints from a few people where they say like I'm scratching this stuff, but my desk isn't scratchy material. It's just the surface of it is like it's not super completely smooth, so it makes it have that sound. Okay, so it's not scratching up the devices, don't worry about it. Alright, so let's actually switch back to the PH0 or PH1 or JS1 screwdriver and get these screws tightened down all the way. Alright. There we go, perfect. Let's go ahead and get this cable back in as well. Again, this cable is going to have to fold, so what you want to do, you want to compare it to the other one here. So this cable, they actually have a line here somewhat. I don't know if that arrow, okay, they do have the arrow there, but it's kind of difficult to figure out where that folds. I think it folds like right about there, like this. Okay, but I'm probably gonna wait until I get the keyboard in or the motherboard in to do that. So let's go ahead and get this cable back in. Touchpad cable, make sure that latches up. Get this cable in, it's a little bit tricky, there we go. Hold it in with the blue tab and then flip that latch back down. All right, it's good. Maybe I should leave it out for now. Okay, that works. Okay, so we got that in. I think the rest we can do separately. So, all right. So let's go ahead and grab this here. We're gonna take this board out. So there's 3 screws here holding this. So let's remove those 3 screws. All right, 1, 2. I don't know if we're gonna have to transfer over that little lock mechanism. Probably not, but we'll see. We'll have to compare the thing. All right, so we got those 3 screws out. This should come out. We're gonna flip this latch up so that we can remove the connector. It's easier if you leave the screws in and then do this, but I already took the screws out, so we'll do it in this order. There we go, and let's go ahead and lift this board out. There we go, and this might be held down with adhesive, I'm not sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this in. Let's see if actually this cable will come out. I don't know if there's adhesive, so we'll flip this latch up and see if we can pull it. Okay, there's no adhesive, so it's just these cables on top that are kind of blocking it. All right, so there we go. We got that cable out. We're gonna go ahead and transfer that over now. So let's get this. And we'll transfer this over here. And we do have to transfer over that metal bracket as well. So let's get this lined up. All right, just like that. For some reason, it's not sitting completely flat here. Okay, there we go. I think these little metal things, one of them wasn't lined up right, so we got it lined up now. Let's go ahead and get these screws in. All right. It's going to be a somewhat long repair. Let's get this one in. All right, let's go ahead and get this cable in. Okay, line that up, flip that latch down, good. All right, let's go ahead and switch back over here, and we need to take out this bracket here. So there's 2 screws holding that. I don't know why they would remove that metal bracket. I don't know who would just buy this metal piece here. It is what it is. All right, we'll take that bracket off and we'll transfer that over to the replacement one. Okay, drop that in, get it lined up. Oh, they melted that plastic tab there. That's probably why they did that. All right, let's go ahead and remove these, get these screws in. All right, tighten that down. Good to go. All right. Okay, let's see what else we got to remove. There's a lot of components to this thing. We're gonna have to remove the motherboard and the screen, of course. Set that aside again. All right, so let's see if we can do this in a, do we have to do this in a specific order or not? All right, so what I'm gonna do is to get the hinges for the screen out, let's go ahead and actually disconnect the cables first. So we got the wireless antennas. Actually, let me zoom in again. So wireless antennas here, we're gonna disconnect that. If you're wondering, the one, they actually labeled one on this little triangle here. It's really tiny and really hard to see, but they did label the 1 goes to the 1 and the 2 goes to the 2. So let's go ahead and pop the wireless antennas up. You do that by going at the tail and then you just pull it straight up. I use both my fingernails and then just pop it up like that. But you can do whatever works for you. You can use little tweezers. We're gonna do the same thing with antenna number 2. All right, then we're gonna unthread the wires here so that they're no longer trapped under here. Okay, so just get them out. This might be a little tricky. Let's see. They tape these two wires together, so I'm gonna have to use a little thin tool to get in here and push it closer to the fan. There we go. Lift it up, and there we go. So we're gonna get it out all the way to the hinge here. All right, make sure we get all those cables out. We got the LCD LVDS connector here. We're gonna flip that latch up. Again, if you're messing with this cable, before you flip this up, make sure that after removing the battery, you press and hold the power button. All right, then we're gonna peel up this tape, it looks like, because it's holding that cable in place. Let's go ahead and peel that out. There we go. And then let's go ahead and remove this connector, lift it up slightly and pull that back. All right, it's being held in place here somewhat. So let's go ahead and unroute that. And there we go. So we got all of that out. All right, I think those are all the cables holding the screen down. So it's nice that all the camera and everything is in one cable, the camera, the microphone, and the LCD. All right, so next thing we're gonna do to make the screen easy to get out, we're gonna actually open up the screen here. It helps if you open it 90 degrees, and then you can actually hang it off the edge of your desk like this. Let me see if I can get this in camera. I'm gonna zoom out a bit more. Probably gonna end up seeing my legs. All right, and what you do now is take out these screws. So make sure you get the right ones. They're the two most inner screws here, close in towards the center, and then they also are the furthest close in back. They actually have little arrows pointing to it, at least on this side. This one I don't see an arrow, but oh wait, it's underneath the screw. Anyways, let's go ahead and remove those two screws. And the screen I'm most likely going to put back last. So let's go ahead and get those two in. And then let's get these two screws out as well. Alright, once we get all these screws out, we're going to actually lift the screen up and out. So just, oh, you can't see. Let me zoom out a bit more. So we just grab the screen and then lift it straight up. There we go, just like that. And now we got the screen out. I'm going to set that aside along with the bottom shell. Okay, let's go ahead and start removing more components here. So the wireless card, if you wanted to remove it, there's one screw and it comes out just like the M.2 SSD. But we're going to leave that in. Let me zoom in a bit more because we're going to work on all this stuff. So we got the DC jack or charge port connector here. To remove that, you just grab the wings. Let me actually zoom in a bit more. So you grab the wings here and then you kind of just wiggle it. All right. Just keep wiggling it like this. And as you can see, it's slowly coming out. And there we go. Then we're going to unguide it from here. All right. So try and remember which way it was routed. Then we're going to take all of this out. Let's see here. Should we take this out first? Speaker cable. The speaker actually runs underneath here, underneath the entire motherboard for this speaker. So we're going to unroute this and then take it out separately. So let's go ahead and unroute the entire DC jack or charge port connector here. It doesn't look like you have to remove everything to get this out. You do have to take the hinge out here because it was on top. But whatever you need to take out, because I have people that say, do I need to take this out? Do I need to take this out? If you can't get it out, then you'll figure it out. Whatever you need to remove, just remove it to get to this. All right. If not, you can go ahead and remove everything like I did. Okay, so this piece here, there's a little bit of the sticky liquid residue. Hopefully his charge port works okay. This piece looks like it's pretty tricky to get this out. It's not wanting to move. I'm going to try with this flat tool here. And what I'm doing is I'm lifting it from this side. Okay, so here you can see it's somewhat coming up. Hopefully it will let me pop it out that way. Okay, it keeps going back down, so this is going to be tough. Oh, there we go. Okay, so after lifting it from this side, as you can see, it pops out. So you can't really lift it from this side because there's this plastic thing that goes over the top. But anyways, there we go. We got the DC jack or charge port connector out. I'm gonna set that aside. Let's double check the case and see if everything looks the same. It looks like this little white piece I need to transfer over. That's the light, I don't know what you call that, light refractor or something. Is it possible to take that out? Looks like there's melted plastic holding it in place, so I don't know if I can even take that out. I might have to break that little plastic piece to get it up. So there's a little piece of black plastic here that's kind of melted over the top. So I'm going to try and break that off. There we go. It looks like it came out pretty easily. Just used my fingernail. Let me actually use the little needle nose pliers here, and we're going to get that melted black plastic piece out of the way. Or hopefully, if we can. There we go. And see if we can get this white piece out. So it's still somewhat stuck. There we go. Okay, so now we got this, and this just helps the light for the charge port shine through so that you can see the amber or white light coming through. Okay, so we're gonna grab this and we're gonna try and put this back in. I don't know how I'm gonna show this on camera, but let's go ahead and get that in there. Okay, so as you can see, that little clearish white thing went in there, and now that should hold itself in place when we put the charger back in. I guess can I just put the charger in? Let me see here. So if I put the charger now, okay, I can put the charger now, and we'll get the speaker in later. So same or opposite as before, we're gonna tilt this up like this to get that in, and then we're gonna work this down here just like that. So this has a little like sticky stuff on it, so I'm gonna clean that up with a little rubbing alcohol. Okay, so I'm just gonna get a paper towel, spray a little rubbing alcohol on it, and I'm just gonna clean this off a little. Need a little more. Okay. So you can see that dark colored stuff that was on there came off. Some sticky sugary residue or something, I don't know. Maybe it was from the sticker, but clean that off. All right, let's see, do we need to transfer anything else over here? That looks fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and now get the motherboard out. There's a lot of stuff to remove here. All right, there's actually some sticky looking substance here too, so I'm going to clean that off as well. Okay, maybe I should zoom out for this. There's a lot of screws. Okay, let's see. So they do have an arrow pointing here, so you know where the screws came from. So I'm going to try and keep all these screws in order, but it is a lot of screws. I'll try my best. So again, I just put it in the pattern that I remove it, and that's how I know where the screws came from. So we got that one down there. We're gonna get this one slightly up higher to the right. Okay. Then we got this one again slightly down lower to the right. We got this one almost directly above but slightly to the right. Okay, then we got this one down here almost directly below, slightly to the left. Hopefully you guys are able to see all the screws I'm removing. I'm just going across from left to right. All right, now let's go ahead and remove. There's 3 screws here going down in a row, so we're gonna just put these all in the same, I guess you would call this a column, not a row, but whatever. Get those 3 out. All right, then we're gonna keep moving over. Let's see. Okay, so we got these 2 here. Oh, You can't even see both at the same time. So let me get the one up here first. Quite a bit higher, and then you got the one down here. Alright, then we got two over here. We're going to do these both diagonally at the same time. Okay. Up here. And we got the one here and here. Okay, so we got those last two. Alright. One. And then the last one down here. I think that's all the screws. We are also going to disconnect the speaker cable here just in case, because I don't know if this is held down with screws. So I'm going to use my fingernails in that little gap where to make contact with the wings, and then wiggle and wiggle and wiggle, and there we go. So actually I think the speakers would come up with the board, but just in case we're going to take it out separately. Alright, let me see. There's another light sensor thingy, optic thing there. So let's see if we need to transfer that. And it looks like we will have to transfer that as well. So let's try and grab that out with the needle nose pliers again. This one's held in pretty strong. I don't know if I can get it out. Let's go ahead and get the motherboard out first, and then we'll figure that out, because I don't see how that's held in. Oh, I see. Is this melted plastic too? No, it's just moving around, so sorry. I don't know. This plastic piece for the hard drive light is just moving around, but I don't know why it won't pop out. So let's go ahead and pop out the motherboard. Let's zoom out here. Okay, so now that we got all these screws out, we should be able to lift this up. Oh, it looks like the fans actually come out without you having to take the whole motherboard out. So that's pretty nice actually. So if you need to replace the fans, you just need to remove the screws that are holding it in place, and then you can take them out. So here you can see the fans come out separately. Let me actually disconnect these, and yeah. This fan would have to come out first because it's on top of this fan, so keep that in mind. So there we go. I actually lifted it out, so there we go. And let's see if I can get this without removing the wireless card. Same thing, getting the wings and just wiggling them until the connector pops out. And we'll set that aside. All right, now let's see, can we lift this out? Here you can see the speaker connector is underneath there. We're gonna try and lift this up. You wanna be very careful and lift it all at once. You don't wanna flex the board too much or you can damage it. Okay, we're slowly lifting this up. Again, get the speaker connector out of the way. We need it to go underneath and slowly lift. And then it's somewhat getting caught here, so you need to be very careful. Slowly lift it a bit more, kind of wiggling it to see. Keep lifting it, I guess. All right, there we go. So you have to kind of raise it up pretty high before you can pull this out. So here you go. We got the motherboard out. Okay, there is some sticky substance here and here, so we are going to have to clean that up. Luckily, it doesn't look like it really damaged anything. It is a little bit in these components here, if you can see that. So I am going to have to make sure that's clean before I put that back. So let me actually get some this anti-static bag stuff. Let go, I need it. Okay. So I'm going to use this blue anti-static bag just to set the motherboard down and put it aside. Alright, I am keeping my knee against a metal part of my desk. If you're wondering how I'm keeping static away, that's how I'm doing it. Alright, so let's see here now. Now we need to transfer this speaker over. So we're going to lift this up carefully. Alright, and then we're going to guide the wire out from under here. And you want to be very careful with this. Alright, slowly guide the wire out from under those little tabs. Just like that. There's some plastic here slightly in the way. All right, there we go. And then let's go ahead and lift this speaker out as well. Okay, so we're gonna move that aside for now. Okay, let's get the other one and let's go ahead and put the speaker into there. So we're gonna get this speaker, get that lined up there. Okay, if you want now you can guide the DC jack or charge port connector wires over, just like this. It goes over the top of this cable, so just like that. There you go. And if you're gonna put it back like before, it's gonna go under here. This one is slightly bent down. I'm gonna have to bend it back up. So let me actually get a small flathead screwdriver to do that. Okay, so this metal piece, we want it to go back up. It's bent slightly down, so there we go. All right, get that cable back over there. So this wire is up a little too high, I think. Should go under there. There we go. And we're gonna go over this way, and this way. Okay, so we got the DC jack cable back in. We might have to unroute this to get the motherboard back in right, but we'll leave it like that for now. All right, there's some sticky stuff here as well, so I'm going to have to clean that off. Usually if it's like sticky sugary substance, it works better to get that out with water. So I'm gonna actually get a little water on this paper towel and we're gonna clean that off. Okay, and then just make sure to dry it afterwards. Okay, just like that. So they're sticky. Oh, there's a lot of like sticky sugary stuff under here. So we're going to clean that up as well. Okay, I don't want to get this sugary stuff on there, so we'll leave that as is. I think that's most of it. Let's go ahead and thread this back under here. Okay, follow this, and we're just threading the cable or the wire back under these little notches, or the tabs, whatever you want to call them. Plastic out of the way, just like that. All right, get all of that under there. Good. Get that lined up with those little plastic tabs, and there we go. Oh, so this plastic tab is somewhat bent. Man, this one, I think they melted that on accident, so let's squeeze it a little bit to make it small enough or flatten it out. All right, hopefully that will fit now. There we go. Okay, got that in. Make sure it fits in right. Oh, the plastic is a little too big, but hopefully it will be okay once we get the screws in. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this casing again, make sure we got everything. This looks okay. It's missing some of these foam and tapes, but we can't transfer that because it's held in with this melted stuff. So it is what that is. I do see these two little HDMI light things here. I don't know if I can transfer that. So there's a melted plastic thing here. So to transfer that, I'd have to cut that piece. I don't know if we can do that. I don't know. I'm going to try and just pop that out with a flathead screwdriver. I don't know if I'll be able to, but it's worth a shot. All these little light holes and stuff, they're not so required, but I don't like to leave stuff not properly done. So let's try and get underneath here and see if we can pop that out somehow. So we're probably going to end up having to snap the plastic there, because that's definitely not going to stay. Yep. Okay, there we go. So we got that out. It actually came with the whole piece of plastic. Alright, so let's see if it will stay in place with the new one. So new one goes here. Looks like I'm going to have to punch the hole back through here. So I didn't put back my little SIM card one. I don't know what I did with that, so we're going to have to use a thumbtack to do this. So I'm going to use the thumbtack and just punch the hole through. Here you can see it went through there, so hopefully that will be good to fit back onto this. Okay, so we got to line up those two little light dots there. I don't know how many people are going to have to do this with theirs, but there we go, and it lined up perfectly. So should be good. Here you can see now we got those two little light dots in there, and this is good. I could technically melt that down to hold it in place, or use a little glue, but it should hold itself in place. Alright. And now we got this one here that we need to transfer over as well. I'm trying to figure out how that works, but I don't know. It's not coming out. Can I slide it back somehow? Okay, let me try sliding this back. I'm gonna move this out of the way. And let's see if I can use the needle nose pliers to grab it and pull it back. It doesn't really want to move. It's really stuck in there. Kind of wiggling it. What is holding this thing down? So I don't know what's holding this one down. It doesn't want to come out, and if I pull too hard, it's probably going to end up just breaking, but I kind of want this because this is the more important one. It shines the hard drive backlight, or not the hard drive light, the hard drive activity light, not backlight. So this one I feel is one of the more important lights, so I'm gonna, I don't know, try and pry it up. Oh, there we go. Okay, I see. So there's actually a clip underneath here. So this one, if you look at it, I don't know if you can see it. So there's a clip on it. So it goes in like this and it clips into place. There's a little latch there. Okay, so hopefully it's still good. And hopefully the latch is still intact on this replacement one. So we're going to get the hard drive light back into there if we can. Okay, it looks lined up. And then we're going to push that down. Let me actually zoom in a bit here. Sorry, guys. So I put it in at this angle here to get the little light dot sticking through there. And then let's see if we can push that down. And it worked. All right, so now we got the light dot there, and this is holding into place again. Good. All right, let's go ahead and zoom out again and see if we're missing anything else. If you guys are wondering, it's probably like 2 or 3 a.m. right now. All right, there's some random foam pieces here. I guess I can pry that out. I don't know if that's going to do anything, but all right, let's go ahead and get that foam piece out and transfer that over, just because we can, so why not? All right, get that foam piece in there. There we go. Oops, sorry. There we go. And let's see if we have any other weird differences here. So they have this hard drive foam piece that's missing here. So I'm going to try and transfer that over as well. Other than that, I think that's all we need to transfer over. So let me see if I can. I don't know if I can peel this up. Let's actually try with the plastic razor blade. I'm gonna set my flathead screwdriver away, put the water away. Okay. And I'm going to have to use the water to clean up the motherboard. But okay, let's go ahead and try and get this foam stuff out. Using the plastic razor blade here. It's kind of just rolling the foam up, so I don't know if we're going to be able to get this out. There's not much room to work here. Actually, instead of using that, let me use this one. So try and scrape that up and see if we can transfer it somehow. Yeah, I don't think this is going to transfer over well. It's just going to tear. Let's see, can we peel it up? I can slowly keep scraping at it. That's going to be a lot of work, and I don't think it's really going to help with anything. So I don't know if I should put effort into this, but I mean, why not? Yeah, this is gonna be, I don't know if it's gonna even stick back down, but let's just try and get up as much as we can. Can we peel this now? There we go. All right, now that we got that, let's go ahead and see if we can peel the whole piece up. Perfect. At least, hopefully it's not stretching. Uh-oh, that's not good. So that piece just tore. So we're gonna slowly keep peeling this up. Oh, it's tearing over here, so I'm gonna have to keep trying to scrape it and slowly keep peeling. Okay, slowly keep peeling at it. Slowly keep working our way, peeling this stuff up. That's not good. Right, I guess we're gonna have to keep scraping at it because peeling it's not working 100%. Now it's like rolling in on itself. Alright, let's see if we can slowly peel this up still, or if we have to just... Can we? Nope. I think the adhesive isn't coming up right. Let's try with this now that we have room. Yeah, that's not working. We're gonna have to scrape it all up all the way until the end. So let's go ahead and scrape this whole foam pad up, and hopefully we can transfer this over and this wasn't all for nothing. Okay. Alright, we're almost there. Can I peel this? Okay. Somewhat. There we go. Alright. I think we got all that we need from that keyboard. Now let's go ahead and transfer it over to here. Alright, let's see here. That way, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and get this back in there. It's fitting well. So I think we should be good. Okay, let's make sure to stretch it somewhat back down. It's not perfect, but it's decent, so. All right, there we go. And now let's go ahead and start reassembling everything else. So let's see here, this cable goes up, goes down this way, it looks like. Okay, so this cable has to go down this way. Alright, so now we're going to put back the motherboard. So let's grab that. Actually, I need to still clean that because it has some sticky liquid stuff on it. So let's grab this and let's take a look. So there's some sticky stuff here. We're going to clean that up. Alright, the water makes it come out pretty easily. Alright, I'm going to use a toothbrush just to make sure that we get all of it up. Alright, looks good. Where else I saw some? Okay, there's a little here as well, as you can see. So I'm going to clean that off. And hopefully that's all of it. I don't see anywhere else any weird stains. Fold this paper back over. I know this is a long video, but sometimes the customers want to see what exactly I did on their computer, so try and show everything I can. Alright. Okay, so I think that's it. It's still a tiny bit sticky, but kind of clean it up. Alright, so that should be it. Let's go ahead and flip this back over and get everything back into place. So we're done with that. Okay, so motherboard we have to put back in at this angle like that. Okay, you have to get it all the way in that angle to get the USB-C port and everything into place. And then slowly let it down. We are going to have to make sure this speaker cable comes back on top. Just like that, and there we go. Again, make sure this DC jack comes out on top. Make sure these other cables end up on top. The tricky one, oh, I have to make sure that backlight cable goes on top. That's going to be, go back over here. All right, let's get this trackpad cable or the backlight cable down. Come on, stop folding yourself back over. All right, there we go. Get that cable out, get this cable out, and the last one here. Actually, let's unroute this so that we can lift that cable up. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this cable up. Okay, let's get this cable in first. Line it up and latch that down. All right, I think everything else is lined up right. Looks good. Let's go ahead and get this cable back over like this. And then get this back into place. This charge port's a little bit tricky to do, but get it lined up. Okay, pull it back, and then we're going to use the wings, and you want to kind of like pinch the two together, just like that. There we go. Everything's lined up there, looks good. Let's go ahead and plug back in this. Actually, let me zoom in so you guys can see better. All right. Get this cable back in. Okay, I don't remember if the hard drive needs to be on top of this or not. Okay, I think this should be good. Flip that latch down. I'm gonna flip this back over and get this cable in. It's the keyboard backlight connector. There we go. Latch that down. If you want, you can actually somewhat crease that. You don't want to fold it too hard, because if you crease it too hard, it can damage the connector. Right, we're going to get the keyboard connector in here. Okay, make sure that's all lined up. into place and then flip that latch down. All right, we're gonna somewhat crease this down. Then we're gonna get this cable for the keyboard, sorry, for the trackpad. We're gonna plug that in. There we go, make sure it's in nice and tight, and then flip that latch down. Should hold itself into place. All right, let's start putting back a bunch of screws. So let's get the fan in. So the fan goes in like this, get that connector in, pinch the two together just like that, and drop that fan into place. Last fan, get that connector lined up as well. Pinch the two together, there we go, and drop that into place as well. Okay, looks good. All right, so yeah, let's start getting all these screws in. So putting back the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver, we're gonna start over on the right-hand side. Let me actually zoom out. And then we're gonna start with the screw all the way down there. Okay. We're gonna work our way up. So we got the two screws up here. We're gonna get both those in. All right. There we go. Hopefully I'm not missing any. All right, let's go ahead and plug the speaker connector in. There's not much slack here, so it's a little tricky. Make sure to get it lined up completely before pushing it in. There we go. Pinch the two together. All right, so we got that. Did I mix something up here? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. There's a little bit of sticky liquid there, it looks like, so let's clean that as well. I might have, did I mix something up here? I got 1, 2, 3. Okay, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, so I think I got it. All right, so now we're gonna get this screw down here. Then we're gonna get this screw up here. I think I might have mixed up. I think that screw goes there, but let me do all the rest just to be safe. We got another screw down here. Then we're gonna go up that whole row like before. Fan screw. I'm gonna loosely fit the fan screws first, just in case they aren't aligned properly. Okay. I'm gonna keep moving over. We'll get this one here. And we'll get these two in loosely again. Oh, I see. Where's the screw that I was missing? Okay, and then we got 2 more screws. We got this one here, and this one here. And the one that I was forgetting is the one all the way up in this corner. Okay, so we'll tighten that screw down. All right, and let's go ahead and now tighten all the fan screws into place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and last one, 6 here. All right, so I think we got pretty much everything. Now let's go ahead and put back the hinge screws. So I'm gonna flip this back over. We're gonna zoom back out. Okay, and then we're gonna get the screen back. All right. The hinges have some sticky liquid stuff on it, so we're going to clean that off. Alright, there we go. We'll get this in. And then make sure to hold these cables up and out of the way and slowly drop the hinges into place. Okay. All lined up. There we go. Then you kind of have to hold this in place as you get the screws in. All right. This screw in here. Alright, second one. I am going to put some new blue thread locker on here just to be safe so that the screws stay tight. Okay, let's go ahead and get these screws all in first. Alright, second screw here. I think the old blue thread locker is holding somewhat pretty tight already, but I'm going to add some new just to be safe. Huh, why is this screw not going in right? For some reason this screw isn't lining up right. Okay, now it's going in. There we go. All right, we're gonna slowly close the laptop here. There we go. Now let's go ahead and zoom back in. Again, I'm gonna add some blue thread locker here. Let me zoom in a bit. Add this blue thread locker. This will hold the screws into place better, so that way there's less chance they'll come loose. So let's go ahead and take the screws back out. Sorry for all the wobbliness. All right. We're going to add this. I'm going to do it off to the side because I don't want to get the stuff to drip on the motherboard. So we just put it on the screw here. And we're going to do that with all 4 of those screws. Tighten the screw all the way down. Okay. Take this screw back out. Alright, get the blue thread locker on there. Get that screw in. Alright, we're going to go over to the other side and do the same thing here. Take the screw out. Get the blue thread locker. Tighten that all the way back into place. Okay, take this screw back out. Add some more blue thread locker. And then we'll tighten that screw into place. There we go. Alright, hopefully we didn't forget anything because we don't want to have to take this all apart again. And hopefully this keyboard is good. Alright, there we go. Now let's go ahead and reconnect these connectors. So we got the LCD LVDS connector. Make sure to guide it through all these little route guidance things. Okay. Get back under there. Flip that latch up and then get that cable in. Alright, make sure it's all completely flush. Flip that latch down, and then we can actually put this adhesive thing back over. Alright. So the main thing was to get it over the screw mount here. Go. So it's a little bit too long, but there we go. I don't want it to go let's see here. Before it was kind of weird. Sorry, we're going out of view here. Let's see, if I stretch it all the way, yeah, then the screw's not going to reach, so we're going to put it like that. And then the excess, we're just going to fold it down over. So there we go. Got that back into place. Don't forget the wireless antennas as well. Same thing, just guide it through. Get that under there. Okay, those wires in there. Just like that. Oops, sorry. There we go. Got all those wires in there. And then let's go ahead and get these antennas in. So the way you get the wireless antennas in, you want to get it lined up. Make sure it's completely lined up. The way you know is when you have it in place, if you try and move it around, it stays in place. And then push it straight down to click it down. There we go. Click that into place. All right, so there we go. Next we have the hard drive and the SSD. Let's go ahead and put the M.2 SSD first. Just like that, locked into place. Get the screw, get that screw in. There we go. All right, now we got the hard drive here. So the hard drive, when you put this in, you actually have to put these black rubber feet in first because they latch underneath, and then you can go ahead and let this top part down. Make sure it lines up with those little raised notches. There we go. Then we'll get those two screws in. There we go. So, there we go. All right, then we're gonna lift this latch up here, and then we'll get this cable into place. All right, make sure it lines up in all the way. Flip that latch down. Good. All right, now let's go ahead and get the battery back in, and then we can start up and test this thing. So, battery here. Okay, get that, line it up, get it in those little notches there. Get this piece lined up, and then push the whole thing down. All right, let's go ahead and get the 4 screws for the battery back into place. One out here, got the 2 down here. Why is it so blurry? There we go. All right, and the last battery screw here. All right, hopefully it has enough battery life that I can power it up, and then we'll put back the bottom cover. So I'm gonna power it up right now just to make sure everything's working okay. The click pad's working. All right, let's go ahead and push the power button here. Uh-oh, the fans are rubbing on something. That's not good. So I'm gonna have to see what's going on there. It's rubbing on something. Yeah. So I'll figure that out in a bit, but okay, if I flex the thing slightly, it stops. But here you go, you can see the BIOS was reset because of the battery, so we're going to press enter to continue. And I'm going to have to figure out what it's scraping on so that I can fix it. Okay, and now it should boot up normally. Alright, so looking good. Again, I'm going to have to see why it's scraping, what it's scraping on, and then see about fixing that issue. So it's booting up. I'm going to test the keyboard and then should be okay. So let's let this Boot. All right, let me pause this. I'm gonna test the keyboard and I'll be back. I'm basically just gonna test all the keys. All right, see you guys in a bit. All right, so I'm back. So I finished testing the keyboard and it looks good. So let's go ahead and see what's going on with the fans. I loosened this one screw in the middle and then it stopped kind of rubbing against it, but that means it's gonna be loose. So let me get all these screws out and see if I can see something underneath that's rubbing on it. Most likely because they replaced the keyboard with some melted plastic tabs. It might be the plastic is a little too high, so let's see if we can make any changes to fix that. So let's go ahead and lift this out first. Okay, it might actually be this plastic stuff is rubbing on it. So let's actually go ahead and remove this, and then I'm gonna have to see about fixing that stuff. So let's pull that connector back out and pull this fan connector back out. And yeah, there's some like stuff sticking up here. I don't know why. Okay, so I'm gonna push this through here. Sorry if my head's getting in the way. I'm not really looking at what's over there. So here you can see there's this, or I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little plastic nib thing raised up there, and one here too. So what I'm going to do, I have these little clipper thingies, so I'm gonna just clip that off. Okay. Just clipping off that excess plastic there. I might have to use a razor blade for that because it's not cutting it super flat. So let me use a razor blade here. Okay, and see if I can cut this without cutting anything else. Perfect. All right, and then let's go ahead and cut this one as well. Perfect. Of plastic out of there. Alright, that's actually still a little high, so I'm gonna have to try and cut that one a little more. I know this isn't part of the normal repair, so most people probably won't have this issue, but just in case. Go. Alright, so now that's completely cut. We should be okay. Hopefully it won't catch on this stuff. So let's go ahead and get this fan back in place. Pinch the connector back down. I think we should be good. Let's go ahead and get this one in. Pinch that connector back in. Alright. Let's get all these screws back in. Power it back up. Test it one more time. Loosely fit those screws first. All right, let's go ahead and tighten everything down. Seems good, seems good. All right, let's go ahead and power it up again and see if there's any noise. Should be no BIOS reset this time because I didn't disconnect the battery, so it should boot straight up. All right, the fans were spinning. Should be booting up. There we go. Okay. Right now the fans aren't spinning. We'll have to wait for it to get warmer, but yeah. So we'll give this a bit. We'll wait for the fans to spin, and then we'll see what it sounds like. And once we're good, we'll go ahead and put it all back together. Come on, get hot enough. You know you want to. Okay, so this sign-in's not going to do anything. I'm going to connect to my Wi-Fi real quick. Alright, give me a second. Let me actually connect to this. Come on, fans, why aren't you spinning? Get hotter. Okay, CPU is not hot enough yet, so gotta wait for this. Maybe I should just pause the video and then be back once it's ready. So give me a bit, I'll pause this and I'll be back once the fan starts spinning and I'll show you guys. All right, see you guys in a bit. All right, so I'm back. Fan is spinning now and it's super quiet. So the other fan's not spinning. I think that's the GPU fan. It only spins if it's running really hot. So I'll see if I can get the customer's password and then I'll test that as well. But other than that, should be good to go. So let's go ahead and shut this thing off. All right, computer shut down. And now all we got to do is put back on the bottom cover. So, yep. All right, let's go ahead and get that back into place. So basically, opposite of before, we're going to go ahead and put the bottom half in first. Okay, make sure it's all lined up. And then we're going to snap on the sides. Okay. There we go. You might have to kind of push in on the sides to get it to snap in right. Just like before, because we had to kind of bow it upwards like that. So there you go, see? It's kind of tough to kind of get that to stay in. There we go. All right, now we got it to go. And then we're going to go by pushing the sides in. These clips are tough to get back in, right? So, all right. There we go. All right, I want to take your time here and make sure you get it to snap in right. So basically, like before, we're kind of pushing the thing towards the center to snap it in. There you go. Make sure the center is good. All right, so here you can see all the clips are back in. We should be good to go. We just got to put back in all the PH1 or JS1 screws. Yeah, and hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others. Oops, did I put one screw in the wrong spot on this one. So you can see this isn't lined up right. So now I got to pop this whole thing back apart. Yeah, let's see if I can do it without the suction cup, or do I need... Okay, I can do this without the suction cup. So I'm basically pulling the cover towards the center as I lift it up, and that undoes those clips. All right. Man, that sucks. I'm going to have to use the suction cup again for those side ones. So let's go ahead and pull this up again. Kind of pulling the clips towards myself as I lift it up. Go. And this one is so difficult to open. Okay, so let's flex it in towards the center again, and then pull that. Pull this back as well. Man, this is so difficult. All right, let's go ahead and go back over to this side while flexing it. Gotta get that first. Get this one in. Come on, unclip please. There we go. All right, so what did I, oh shoot, I moved it over slightly to the one side. So got this one screw here. Let's see if I can take it out without completely removing the case. I'm gonna just take out most of this, and if we can lift it up enough, I can probably get in there so I don't have to completely take it back out. So now we're going to get in there and get that screw out. Nope, I might have to actually take it out. Okay, let's see if I can do it through here. No? Wishful thinking. Yeah, I'm going to have to take the whole cover back out. Alright, so let's go ahead and try and get this one out. Wiggling and pulling. Come on, let go again. There we go. Come on, let go. Okay. Let's see if that's enough to reach the screw. There we go. That's good enough. Let's get that screw out. And then we're going to have to transfer it back over. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and put some blue thread locker back on there because we took it back out. There we go. And now let's get the screw in the right spot. There we go. This one's so much easier because I can actually reach it through the hinge gap. Can't believe I messed that up. Okay, that's good. Alright, let's go ahead and snap this all back together. Okay, snap that all back down. Make sure this goes in right. There we go. Click that all in. Alright, perfect. Alright, now let's get all the screws back in. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can also learn how to upgrade and repair their devices. Excuse me. And if this video helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Again, this is a customer's computer. I don't own these computers, the ones that I work on. I've only done probably 1 or 2 devices that I actually own, so there aren't many videos I have that are of my own devices. They're mostly customer computer repairs. And as I continue to put out more of these videos, because more and more models are covered, I actually get less and less work as people are able to repair their devices on their own. So, yep, please help me continue to do this, and yeah, let's go ahead and finish putting the last few screws. Alright. Last 2, this one, and the last one. Alright, that's all there is to this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, let's drop this. Bye.